Alright, gonna do a couple of response videos to a couple of real skanky assholes. You know, these guys really dirty, smelly, diarrhea poopy shit. I mean, just the ugliest kind of crap you want to run across. Just ew, you see it on the sidewalk, it's like, oh, fuck, puke. So anyway, first one's named the other Jacob Spinney. Yeah, it's a good name. I mean, he looks like a fucking Weasley Spinny thing. So anyway, let's play his little spinny video.
So we are pulling out the morality card. Well, allow me to pull out the morality card. Do you think that stealing is wrong? If I...
It's not a rhetorical question, was it? You know, this whole idea of the stealing. Okay, so let's get the context of the conversation. So mannixthepirate made a video. I made a response video. That's what this massacre thing started out with. He says he's massacring me. And I made the simple point that inheritance is not earned money. If we progressively attacks the benefits that were never earned, all right, they're just passed on. That's not a crime, and this is not earned money. All right, let's give the money to the workers. That was the argument. And so you're calling it theft for a society to rationally say something like, well, Mark McGuire's son doesn't get to play baseball. You know, he has to earn it. He actually has to show he can play baseball. He doesn't get to just own. He doesn't get to walk into the baseball stadium and say, I'm a baseball player. No, he has to start off like everybody else. He has to earn it himself. He can't just inherit it.
He came up to you on the street, held a gun to your head, and said, give me your money. Is that...
Your money again. Okay, so if somebody, you know, so that's going to be, but that's the game you're playing. So you're going to keep saying that the money is their money. The money doesn't say, I bet you can't show me a dollar bill that says Jacob Spinney on it. I bet you're going to show me a dollar bill that says the United States of America, which represents 300 million people, who create a whole infrastructure, a whole nation for you to live in. Agricultural, a whole bunch of things it did. Built Hoover dams. It flew to the fucking goddamn moon. Did lots of goddamn things, you asshole. Okay? So it's not your money. It's the money of the United States of America. You're being allowed, okay, to use it, to be part of it, but that's all. And if the government someday says you owe us some back, that's right. It's their fucking money. It's not your fucking money, asshole.
Not wrong. Well, what if I decided that I was going to keep, you know, around 75% of that money for, you know, administration costs, of course.
Yeah, and where do you get that statistic from? And that's just, so you're going to have an argument and play this game like you got some sort of credibility, and you're going to throw out a number like 75% administrative costs. So where are you going to prove that? What branch of government is the post office 75% administrative costs, or are you counting the laborers actually deliver the mail as administration or something? Is Medicare and Medicaid is all 75% administrative costs? I mean, where are you getting this fucking bullshit from, asshole? And I shouldn't even use those as examples, because those are paid by, and you goddamn probably know this, payroll taxes.
And then use 25% of that money to feed starving children in Africa. Would it be okay for me then to come up to you and hold a gun to your head and say, give me your money?
Well, like I said, it's not me, it's the United States government, it's their goddamn money. And so your metaphor is bullshit. And what we're talking about is spending the money on our infrastructure, on our country. We're not talking about taking the money and giving it to somebody else. We're giving it to the people of this country who helped build this country. So it's not like we're giving it to some foreigner. We're giving it to somebody who lives here, who works here, or who maybe is dying here. You dumb fucking prick.
Because I'm spending 25% of it to help children in Africa. And that 75% that I'm wasting, well, that's just, you know, the hazard of...
Again, where do you get these numbers from? You just pull them out of your ass. It's just bullshit. So you're going to use a preposterous exaggeration, and you're going to pretend like you have some credibility. I mean, you could have said even 50%. You might have sounded a little bit more... But to use a number like 75% is just so fucking ludicrous.
Administrative costs. You can't really get around that. So, but I'm spending 25% of it to help out poor people in Africa.
Yeah, so it's your argument that something like Medicare is less efficient than, you know, something else. I mean, there's some alternative that's going to be 75% more efficient. No, that's not going to fucking happen, asshole, and you goddamn know it. The same services aren't going to be purchased for the same fucking price. And so you're just arguing against the idea that we as a civilization should decide to do some things collectively, like educate kids or take care of their health care, or even provide some sort of insurance or health care for people, and that we're not allowed to do that as a collective. But I don't even know what your argument is. Again, the payroll taxes are different than income taxes, which are the progressive taxes. Payroll taxes are rather regressive. So your argument is shit, okay? Talk about the military. Talk about something else, but don't be talking like we're going to be giving the money to human beings. We might be giving the money to some assholes who are working for capitalists who want to go steal some oil from some other country. But you're not talking about we're not talking about the little hungry kids. Aren't the ones saying go spend $500 million a year warring with people? You fucking weasel.
Does that now make it moral for me to steal from you? What if I was able to spend 50% of it toward helping children in Africa? What if I was able to spend 100% of it toward helping out poor children in Africa?
Again, you're just using it's just a complete straw man. It doesn't have anything to do with reality. Why don't you use a real program that exists in the government that's paid by income taxes, and then explain how we'd be better off not spending the money? I mean, there are parts of government that I would even consider inefficient. There are unions that I think are overpaid. There are social programs that I think are unproductive. But that's the concession we all make to democracy. You understand the concept of democracy, right? Or are you some kind of dictating asshole who says if you got money, you got ownership, and that never changes? So if let's say I own the Mississippi River because my grandfather, he's put a flag in it, all right? And you're completely dependent to get your food for your whole family. Say there's 200 little spindly guys running around, you know, and you're completely dependent on getting your food, you know, to sustain your existence by traveling on my river. And I've been willing, you know, my ancestors were willing to let you spindlies live. But now you've pissed me the fuck off, and I say, fuck these spindly little fucking cunts. All right? And I say, no, you're not going to use my river anymore. But that'd be okay with you, right? That's a just and fair and rational world in your book, right? Just because I own it because my granddaddy put a flag in it, right? And that's your fucking psychology. And it would be thieving from me to say that I don't have control over my river no more. I mean, fuck you. You are such a fucking weasel. I mean, you know, you're just asking for a pitchfork in the gut.
Does that now make my original theft just? Now, let's look at this from another angle. When you are arguing that...
Another preposterous angle, right, that has nothing to do with practical reality.
I have a right to hold a gun up against someone else's head and take their money so that I can fund XYZ.
Again, their money. Their money. Their money. So how did they acquire the money? And whose name is on the money? And through what mechanism did they get the money? So let's say my great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was a slave owner, and he had a plantation in the South, and he made a big pile of money off a bunch of slaves. And I'm sitting here now lording over a big pile of ownership of the capitalist system. You're going to make some kind of argument that it would be thievery if some ancestor of those slaves came up to me and said, hey, asshole, you can fool some people some of the time, but you ain't fooling me, okay? You stole from us, all right? You just flat out stole this money, all right? And you're going to pay it back, or I'm going to punch your fucking face in. What would my counter argument be? Would I have any authority whatsoever to make any fucking counter argument to that? I don't think I have any such thing. I wouldn't have any integrity as a goddamn human being, and I have no balls as a man if I couldn't understand why I would be full of shit to come up with your kind of snarky crap as an excuse to say, I got it, I keep it. You fucking selfish cunt.
Then you are necessarily arguing that other people should be slaves to you. You are necessarily arguing that you have a right to thing XYZ, and it is your right to steal from other people in order to ensure that you have XYZ.
Again, steal what? All right, you have to earn it before somebody can illegitimately take it from you. So when we start to have a conversation about something actually earned, then your fucking argument might make some sense. But until you get to that point, the same point that Mannix the Pirate was unwilling to go to, as soon as you get to the point where you're willing to say, yeah, we're going to have a fair race, and then we'll judge people based on the content of their character. How did they perform in the race? We're not going to judge them based on what circumstantial bullshit happened 300 years ago.
We're arguing that other people should be slaves to you. So you believe in slavery? Yeah, who's the moral person?
Yeah, so again, you're going to use such a weaselly term. You're going to use the word slavery in this context. I mean, you have that little intellectual integrity. Your brain doesn't connect the word. You're such a scumbag that you can't, when you hear the word slavery, you don't think about hundreds of years where human beings were treated like mules. And you don't think about the injustice of that. And you don't think about how much stolen value was taken from those human beings, how much suffering they endured right? You think about what you own. So fuck you. Fuck you.
Who's the person who's advocating morality here? Now let's look.
Well, like I said, obviously, if you're going to use a word like slavery in your disgusting context, you're obviously the person. You have no integrity, so you can't have any morality.
Just from a utilitarian aspect, when you take the money from rich people and give it to poor people.
No, when you take the money from loafing son of a bitches who did nothing to earn it, and you give it to hard-working, industrious, productive people, there. Now you got the right equation, asshole. So let's not argue your straw man bullshit. Let's argue paying people who work money, okay, and not giving people who don't work free rides.